Yes, it tastes a bit like a pear, but it's shaped a lot like an apple. What is it? It's a nashi. It came from the Orient. In fact, nashi is Japanese for pear. And this versatile fruit was once regarded as a delicacy by Japanese emperors. It's now found its way onto Australian palates. In fact, it's successfully grown here in Australia, mostly in the Golden Valley of Victoria. Although they're thirst-quenchingly crunchy to eat, just as they are, they're also terrific in salads. One of the beauties of using the nashi is that, unlike apples, they don't get browned off when they've been cut. Today, in Consuming Passions, my favourite salad using nashi, and loosely based on the Waldorf salad, but instead of apple, I use nashi fruit. I also use some lettuces, a couple for variation, in flavour and texture, some celery, a few cherry tomatoes for beautiful sweetness and colour again, some pecan nuts, or you can use walnuts if you can't get pecans, and I make it a complete meal with the addition of a couple of skinless chicken breasts gently poached for about 10 minutes in chicken stock with a couple of bay leaves. And what makes the salad special, apart from the nashi and the chicken, is homemade mayonnaise. You know, making your own is simple and rewarding. It's a bit of culinary magic, turning a lot of liquid ingredients into a beautiful, thick cream. If you've never tried it, it's worth it. It can be done in a blender, but I find it's more satisfying to make it in the traditional way in a bowl, with a whisk. Now you need an egg yolk, and if you still have problems separating the yolk from the white of an egg, a good way is to crack the egg on a saucer, break the whole egg into the saucer, put 1/2 of the eggshell back over the yolk, and tip it into a bowl, leaving the egg yolk. Now we put the egg yolk into a bowl and squeeze in the juice of 1/2 lemon. You can use vinegar here. I like to use sometimes a wine vinegar. The best of the wine vinegars are balsamic vinegars. They've matured like good wine, and they're less acidic than a conventional vinegar. I just now add a good teaspoonful of Dijon mustard. Any mild mustard would do, but Dijon really is the best. And then we start with the tricky part, which is blending in the oil. And the oil I'm using is an extra light olive oil. It has a subtle flavour, and it's low in saturated fats. So it comes with a tick of approval from the National Heart Foundation. Now this stage is where you need a bit of patience. If you add this too fast, the mixture will curdle. It's a good idea to use a spare pair of hands when you're doing this job. Then if it does curdle, you've got someone else to blame. Now we start dribbling into the mixture the extra light olive oil, drip at a time. And you patiently do this until a cup of oil has been added. Slowly, it will start to thicken. Incidentally, if it does curdle, you can start the process again with a new egg yolk, and you simply pour the curdled mixture very slowly back into the new egg yolk. Dribble at a time, like this. Once it starts thickening, you can actually add the oil a little faster. It's thickened beautifully. It looks and smells delicious. All that remains is to season to taste. I don't use salt. There's usually enough in the Dijon mustard. I do use pepper, white pepper, to keep that pale colour. And you can add lemon juice or vinegar if you believe it needs it. Oh. To our other ingredients now, we've chopped up the pecans, the chicken, the celery, and the nashi, and we just add it to the mayonnaise. Wonderful mixture of crunchiness. And that's it. We pour the mixture over our lettuces, which have been washed 3 times. Once to get out most of the grit, a second time to get out the rest of the grit, and a third time to get out the grit that didn't come out the second time. We sprinkle on some tomatoes, and there it is, our nashi salad. Fantastic. The only thing that remains is to complement it with a good wine. A Chenin Blanc I recommend for this. From Consuming Passions, bon appetit.